This is iLLANOiZE Radio with Biko, Illinois Jones, and Pretty Riot going down right now.
You're tuning to iLLANOiZE Radio, Chicago's most valuable radio show. I'm your host, Biko, alongside Pretty Riot and Illinois Jones. And as always, we bring you all the illest guests from around the city and globe. And today, we got the homie Asxa in the building.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming.
We appreciate you.
The energy, how you do? What you just do?
Oh, look at you. Shit rubbed off on you already.
You said not you this live already.
Hey, that's how it's supposed to be, though. That's how it's supposed to be. I got to jump into your name, Asxa. Like, when I first saw the X,
okay,
it threw me off.
Threw me off.
You and the rest of America. Yeah.
I mean, how? Like, what led you to presenting your name in this way? Because honestly, it's a unique way, but it's also a way where people can find you and only you.
Facts. And that actually took us, I guess, it took us a second. So let me double back. My original artist name here in Chicago, which is period, was Asxa Monique, which is my actual name. So it's like, okay, well, as you begin to look at, artist period, just across the board, Asxa Monique is like, okay, I'm an Asxa Monique too. If you do a Facebook search, I am literally friends with like 10 of them. And then if you do an actual Google search, it's well over 1,000 Asxa Moniques. So it's just like, my name's not as special. So let's actually run a rebrand right fast. And so being able, because I'm Asxa regardless. I love my name. Asxa itself means wisdom. Asxa itself just means so many different things. So it's just like, I love that. Let me keep it. Let me just figure out another way to do this. So we sat down. I was like, okay, well, let's start here. Why don't you just take the I out and try an X? It's like, how do you want your name presented? I was like, nah, we can stop here. I like that. Because I'm like, for the branding stuff, for everything else, we can do all the fancy stuff. So, like the shirts and stuff like that.
So, I hope I didn't miss, but what made you do the whole rebrand?
Oh, so, Asxa Monique is not as special of a name as we think. Okay. It's thousands of Asxa Moniques out there, and I didn't even mention that part. Like, I even did a search on Tidal because I needed them to fix my my project, like my EP my EP Looking Glass, which was Solitude. That's where that was from, and they still had me and like 5 other Asxa Moniques grouped together. I was like, so no, it's a different girl. She does different things. So yeah.
Damn, they had you grouped up with a bunch of other Asxa Moniques.
Mm-hmm. And some of these girls are recent. I'm like, no shade on them because they're all. First of all, every Asxa Monique I've seen is a baddie. So,
hallelujah.
Peace and blessings on that. But it's just like, okay, that's not me. And we each have a different sound. So, Sis is over here giving Erykah Badu. Asxa's not. So, I want to make sure that she gets her shine and she gets her credit the way it needs to be done. And so, just as an example, it's just like, nah.
How long did that take for them to correct that? Or like, what do you have to go through to get that corrected?
That process.
You gotta. It takes a long time. Sometimes they'll recommend that. Oh, why don't you just pull your project off and just no, because they know that some of the DSPs, those digital streaming platforms, take forever in order to adjust that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, it's okay. I'm like, I only got the one EP out. Y'all can do this. This is simple. Y'all can fix this. And even then having to go back and just be like, okay, I see that you did this wrong. I see that you got this wrong. Just being able to correct them because they're actually really nice to work with. But it's just a matter of calling them out on it and they will do it. So I'm like, the downside is having to go through several different DSPs in order to get it done. But I mean, I'd much rather let them know that, hey, I'm paying attention to, no, you're going to fix it. Instead of me having to take it down, because once you take that project down, you've lost all your
all your analytics.
Yes, you've lost every single thing. And you also have to come up with like brand new ISRC
codes. Yep.
And just, it's a whole new project from there. And they're like, oh, well, this is the recommended. But it's like, this project has been out since 2015. Mm-hmm. I need those.
But with it being under another name, where you all are sharing it, I mean, did you see any effects on your revenue side?
Mm-mm. Because I'm actually under ASCAP. So how they present the ISRCs, it's just how they're grouped on like the profile page. And because it's so common, just send them a quick note and say, hey, listen, you have my music under somebody else's profile name. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then they'll fix it. So I haven't had anything bad come from it.
My son is.
It just takes time. No, I love him though.
He going crazy.
I love him. He was out there. He was beating up the older brother. Okay, he was like, "No, you gonna get this work." Foot. He's like, "Please stop."
Hey, appreciate you for dealing with them. Okay,
it's the patience that your older son has.
Mm-hmm.
He is hilarious. He was like, "Just if you could just please."
Do you have any kids?
I do not. Mm-mm.
Do you want any kids in the future?
Oh yes, I do. Just not right now.
Good. Good answer.
Yeah, I come from a very large family. So I was raised between two different homes. So we're talking about my dad already has like seven of them. And then with my mom, it was 10 of them. So imagine what the cousin situation looked like. All right, great. And then each of them decided to have like at least 3 on average kids. My mom, I think she had my brother like 13 years behind me. So I was good. So I'm like, I'm good.
Were you the only one that turned out, actually found music? Are you the only like artist in this big old family that you're in?
Am I the only artist? No, I'm not. My uncle James McClan is a world-renowned musician. Actually, he plays like 15 different instruments. So does my uncle Edmund. I have to say his right because our other names. I was like, wait, no, say his real name. Don't say that other name.
You're like Baba.
Okay. That, and I want to say on my dad's side, my father is actually really talented. He gives more Broadway, and then he went into the Navy, and he was like, they do their shows and stuff like that while in the Navy. And he just decided that wasn't for him. So I'm like pursuing any type of musical career aspect.
Do you feel like any of that was distilled into you?
Oh yeah, and it's funny because my father will tell us all the time. He was like, you guys are living a life that I decided not to do. So I was like, okay. He was like, yeah. He was like, I wanted to play baseball. I was great at it. Did not pursue that. My younger brother pursued it. Me, he's like I said, super musically inclined, and I went to school for it. I just did all the, like the shows and stuff like that. And here I am actually pursuing the career. And he's like, yo, I see you. I'm like, thank you.
The iLLANOiZE app is available now on Apple and Google Play Store. Download the app, get the latest news, stream our podcasts, watch interviews, and listen to iLLANOiZE Radio live. Download the app right now.
Ooh, okay. I see you. Fingernails popping. Show me your nail.
How you doing?
Shout out your nail architect too.
I will let Kevin know.
Kevin. Kevin. Shout out to Kevin.
It's Kevin. Yes, at Classy Nails in Tinley Park.
Okay, now she need a discount because she just gave you free promotion.
Free promo.
So I wanted to know, when did you become like a singer? Or like when did you I want to be a singer? Or an artist?
Mm-hmm. No, I knew what you meant. I think I decided to take that leap when I was in college because I was like, you know what? I'm actually pretty decent with some of the folks around here. So I wonder if they would be cool with me singing a couple backgrounds. And so in singing some of those backgrounds, for our good old rappers here, it's just like, all right, bet. I realized though they can keep you in said stuck place. And it's like, no, I need to step out. I wanted to do that mainly for the exposure. So it's been some time. It's been some time. I'm like, I just knew I was a star. I'm like, since I was a kid, let me say that. Because it's like, I know I'm not just supposed to be doing regular things. Like me just, okay, how I can get this money, how I can do these, what kind of shows can I do? Am I okay to step out here, do a little bit of modeling? Can I do, what exactly can I do to benefit myself in order to set myself up? And so being able to step out in college and work with some of those, some of the rappers here, it was beneficial for that time. Mm-hmm. But again, y'all know how we are in Chicago. Like, we see you doing one thing, that's what we identify you as. And no.
And that's what I was going to ask you, like, why do you feel like certain artists was trying to keep you in that said stuck place?
Oh, because that's what they wanted me to be good at. That's what they felt. And I'm a very loyal friend. And you tell me to slide through at this particular time, lay something down, bam, I'll be there. I'll make time for you. But then you start to look at how the scale turns on, you know, you can watch them be successful and do their things, but that same level of respect and or respect is the only way to put it. That same level of respect, it just was not in turn. It's just like, what you doing? I'm the one that's getting the shine. You supposed to show up when I say. That's the mentality. And so when you start doing your own things, it's like, oh, okay.
Did you even at least receive some type of support back? Like, no?
That's not from every single, but like from the main people that I was working with, it's just like, nah.
Damn.
Why? It's the why for Asia. So that's basically the mentality. And I'm like, and it's no shade to them, but it's just what it was. There's no other way around that. That's actually the nicest way I can put that.
That shit sucks, to be honest. Like, to hear you say how you were supporting other people on, you know, endeavors and at least not even really receiving that back. That shit, you know, in a way, that shit sucks. But one thing I will say, we know that's the mentality here.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's that crabs in a barrel mentality. And what I do find interesting, because I have no problem talking about it, it's just a matter of, we are collectively a reactive city. So when they see you getting shine anywhere else, it's like, oh, I remember when she was, you know, spitting these verses in my closet and woo, woo, woo. It's just like, so do I.
And you ain't stopping. Look, you ain't let that stop you neither. That's another Chicago mentality. Look, we got a balance of both worlds. And, you know, with you being where you are now, who are some of the artists that influenced you and, you know, made you want to become a star-studded star?
Watching, because so I sing, step one. Two, the type of, what I'm trying to do right now with my music, it's not traditional R&B, right? So we thrive off of traditional R&B here in Chicago, and that's just not where I sit. So being able to see, okay, I like R&B. Who else does something similar but can speak to what I got going? So we talking about SZA, we talking about Jhené Aiko, we talking about Jasmine Sullivan, because she can give you everything underneath the sun and still bring it back to what she wants to do creatively without straying too far out of what she can possibly do. Lucky Day, Miguel, yada yada. So yeah, those are like my right now inspirations, because they have it, and it's like they grasp like that good funk, that little bit of trap. Like, they can just try these things and it still makes sense.
So like, what's something you feel like you bringing to apply to what those people who have influenced you, what you feel like you could bring to the table to what they got going on to influence the next person?
Oh yeah, just to be able to sit at a table with them for what I bring is a vibe. Like, it's literally an experience. So I love live instrumentation. I like being able to bring that funk, that soul, and you can hear the Chicago in my music. It is giving all of the picnic vibes that you would ever need. So being able to, you know, put your white linen on, two-step, find yourself on a yacht, talk to your auntie, your cousin, your uncle. You can even talk to your dog while you grabbing their plate of ribs and be like, oh, that's my best Asia, yes. I'm like, it's a good vibe when you listen to anything I bring. So I'm like, I know we played a song from my first EP, which is a little darker, but I'm like, it's still a bop, because I'm like, once you listen to it, you're like, hey, okay. And then to be able to switch that up and go right into, you know, Paradise, you're like, I see what she's talking about, because it's got a little bit of Elena Barras. She's also an inspiration to it, and I'm like, it's just being able to give like that trippy, that sultry, that sexy, and to still deliver at the highest capacity, showing a little bit of range, showing like just being able to speak. So I bring all of that.
It seemed like the city like gives you, like, you feed off of being from Chicago. Like, you take pride in coming from Chicago. In what ways has the city influenced you? You know what I mean? As an artist, person, and an artist.
It's the community. I mean, you know, every block is different. It doesn't matter where you at in Chicago. You can be all the way in the low end. You could be all the way out in Richmond Park. They know their people. So you being able to know that and receive whatever, just whatever. I'm like, even if the neighbors don't mess with you all the way, they know you and they watch out for you. So that's that. I'm like, and it's just always knowing that you're being protected, watched over. Like, people are paying attention. That actually speaks to several different levels of how Chicago operates. And the environment. Like, there's no telling what you're going to get in Chicago. Like, you can be anywhere, especially in Brownsville. You walk in there, it don't look like the brownstone that you see outside. So, I mean, it's just being able to, because, you know, they talk about us being hard and rude, like going anywhere else. And it's just like when they get to know you, like, oh, okay, you're not that bad. Like, being able to showcase, I mean, we're people too. We just, like, you know, we say what we say and we be done with it. So, Chicago just... growing up here, seeing that just the camaraderie, even within my own circle, outside of my circle, regardless of what I was speaking about earlier, folks still want to see you win. It's just a matter how you get to it. And I think also being from Chicago, it's a major city. Like I said, it don't matter if you're all the way on the low end or all the way on Richmond Park. You got to grind.
Yes, you do.
It's a grind. So...
Make sure to check out the iLLANOiZE playlist, in which we provide you with the latest tracks we play live on our show. Head over to Spotify and search iLLANOiZE Radio to follow our playlist, as well as follow our podcast. Now let's get back to the show.
So, you know, we was talking about Chicago, your love for Chicago, but we never really found out what part of Chicago you from.
Southside.
Where at?
Everywhere. I'm being very serious.
I'm from everywhere in West Side, so I feel you.
Yeah, so... Being raised between two different households, we live between the city and the burbs. So I guess at this point, I'm from Country Club Hills now, because that's the longest place that I've physically lived.
Stayed. Mm-hmm. Okay, I say I ain't been to Country Club Hills. I passed through, but I don't know too much about it. So yeah, I'm not really too familiar with Country Club.
What was your favorite place to be though? Like?
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite place to be?
Yeah.
What, specifically in Country Club Hills?
In Chicago.
Just in Chicago. Brownsville and Hyde Park. We talking about the food. We talking about the environment. Good memories for me. So my folks used to own the Chicago Rib House. That's off of, I think that's either 31st or 35th. I'm like, I always get that particular corner, I get mixed up. But yeah, I used to be over there, passing out the ribs, ringing folks up, packing the food together.
So you can cook?
Yeah. I'm like, if I know how to make anything, I can definitely pull some barbecue together. But I am actually a pescatarian. But you cannot be a maize. You can't cook. It's not right. You're not a maize.
Ain't nothing wrong with barbecue fish.
Yeah, like barbecue that salmon, put that thing on that grill.
Like, go ahead. Turn that. Damn. But between that and then actually right behind it, it was the, I want to say that's the Brownsville Historical. It's the Brownsville Historical Museum. It's a vibe. Like, and I mean that to a T. So many greats, legends have come through there. The Rat Pack. No, not Ella Fitzgerald. Maybe Ella Fitzgerald, but so many people. And, like, you can feel some of that energy in that space. Man. So that is truly my favorite place. It is a gem. And, of course, it's in Brownsville. So that makes it even sweeter.
You say a Brownsville Historical Museum.
I believe that's the name of it. Because I'm like, I like to make up things. Like, as far as, like, I will flip a word.
Me too.
So, but I want to say that that's what it is. So I'm like, if you Google Brownsville Historical or just museum in Brownsville, everything will come up for you. But I want to say, I'm like, I haven't been there in a while. But the last time I was there, you can see like some children's paintings and stuff in there. So I want to say it's been utilized for a couple of different things.
That's dope as hell. I'm happy you shouted that out because that's needed. Like that's really needed. And I want to actually jump into the music because to my knowledge, you said off air that you went to college and you got your degree in broadcast communication.
In mass communications, that's right. And a minor in music.
Talk about it. I mean, what school did you attend and what made you want to take that major?
Oh, man. So I actually went to St. Xavier University on a music scholarship, and just given the pace and just the extra, and I'm going to just leave it at that, that comes with that particular field of study, I just went in and flipped my minor to my major, and I was like, you know what, because a girl is trying to get out, okay? And what I didn't realize as far as flipping to a mass communications degree, period, and being able to graduate sooner than what they would expect it, like there are people in the department that were already trying to count you out. So I had already, to a certain extent, was already feeling that from the music degree aspect, and then to go into it at St. Xavier. And I had one particular woman in my corner, and shout out to Renee, Dr. Renee. She made sure I had all of my things in line. She actually nicely, in a more professional way, told me what was happening behind the scenes. And then when I actually got my degree, to hear the feedback from those individuals, it was just like enlightening. Like, I don't care, because I graduated a whole year and a half earlier than what you would expect it. So I took another year, but they would tell me, like, no, you're not going to do this. No, you're not going to finish. No, you're not. It's just, all I heard was no. And it's like, okay, I'm not interested in showing you, but I'm going to show you just because.
Damn, shout out to you. You said you graduated a year and a half early?
From what they were anticipating. So
big shout out to you on that, because shit, I dropped out of college, okay? I dropped out first semester.
I feel that.
I was gone.
Yeah, college isn't for everybody, and that's cool. So I'm like, you knew that was like, nah, I'm good on this. You gave it a try, though.
I went to school to be a doctor.
Oh, you definitely gave that a try.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, all that shit was... I don't know. It just transitioned. Yeah, so damn, a year and a half.
She looked at you like, nigga, you was reaching. That's not a school for you, my boy.
That's what it was. Learning that I was gonna be in school forever.
For your life?
Forever. I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have to leave this.
You said, thank you.
Thank y'all. I'm out. You dropped your EP as well.
Yeah.
In 2015.
I did.
Man, and with the EP dropping, it's been a stretch since you put out your latest single. Now, let's talk about Looking Glass in general. Let's look back at 2015, and let's talk about how like your sound has changed from then till now.
Yeah. So my very first project, that EP, that was crazy. It was a crazy experience. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm releasing music. Yay! I'm doing something so amazing. Oh snap. Like this is a thing, like once you really have to sit down and make sure all of the records make sense, and just you're telling the story that you want to tell. Because I'm like, what I enjoy about Looking Glass, just if at your first time listen, you can hear it front and backwards, and it's just synonymous. And that was how I wanted that project to go, not knowing that I didn't have to put so much pressure on myself to even get to that point. I probably thought a little too hard, a little too fast, and we were just excited to put the music out. We was like, you know what? Forget it. We're just going to throw caution to the wind and release it. And we did. And at that particular time, it was on some major blogs like Ashley Outrageous.
I remember A&O. Yeah, I remember that. I remember Ashley Outrageous.
So being able to get those type of looks, just because they found it. They found it, and it was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I'm like, the person that did the artwork, shout out to Gio, and his background and everything on the sun. He is an amazing individual to have in your corner. And he was promoting just the artwork, and people still ask about that artwork. And so being able to, again, it was just dark. So if you look at the artwork on the picture, it's dark. If I were to show you the single artwork for Heroin, you're like, oh yeah, this is dark. And we were really inspired at that time. Me and my executive producer, I Produce Wonders, and under Yeezus, Travis, like the heavy, the everything, that it's pretty much the darkness.
Because I was gonna ask you, like, was you going through a dark time at that time?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was like super dark, but just to say I loved that because it was edgy and it was different. And it actually spoke to what I like, because I like the heavy bass guitars. I like the heavy 808s. I love a good bass, and just the transient stuff, being able to mix all of that and to still be able to sing over it. It shows that because that's challenging. And I'm like, we like to count vocalists out because we're just expecting us to just sing over something light. Nah, if you can actually cut through that level of noise and be able to deliver at the level of somebody like Travis, I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying, being able to meet somebody in that same field and level of emotion, dog, you won.
You're right about that. You ain't lying about that.
So, yeah, but Looking Glass was definitely an experience. And so being able to see where I was, I'm going to tell you right now, like, I was so excited, but I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I say? Being able to approach a mic and just, it's a ton of pressure. It's it actually was a ton of pressure. It wasn't just what I was putting on myself, but again, there are just a lot of folks that are like, maybe not. It's what everybody else thought at a particular point in time, and being able to produce what they weren't even expecting made me feel good at the particular time. Right now, I can care less. I'm like, I know I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm like, you gonna mess with it anyway.
And the pressure probably could have been because it was also your first.
It was the very first
project.
Yeah, and we took our time between 2014 and 2015 building that, and a lot of that, that came out of Soundscape. So yeah, it took some time. Again, it's just the pressure, making sure, because at that time, how I was writing, it was super wordy, because I'm like, you hear how I talk, I'm like, like, no, slow down, wait, chill, that's not what you're supposed to be doing over this. So the level of growth that I can say happened between then and now, and let me stop. The level of growth that actually happened a year later, being able to start, because that project, I honestly just stopped performing that project in 2019.
Okay. Oh.
So
it did what it needed to do.
So I'm like being able to take that, have a couple of sets across the city. I had a set in Atlanta. It was just a vibe, being able to really take what happened here and just amp it up, make it acoustic, just do so many different things from what people had just heard, and that's what I like to do. So it's just like, you heard how this sounds, go take a listen to the project. Or if you heard this project, come see my show. It's an experience. So I took what I learned from being able to promote said project, especially performing, and I put that towards this next batch of music that I've been creating just the entire time.
Okay, well, let me pause you right there, because we was talking about pressures.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna say, did some of these pressures hold you back until, because it's been about 7 years? I want to, if I'm not mistaken, was it some of those pressures that held? Well, what was some of those pressures that held you back into finally getting back in the studio and releasing new music?
Being able to produce a sound that I was comfortable with, because from what I did on Looking Glass, people started to take that type of sound and it became a thing. And so I'm like, I don't want to sound like everybody else. I'm like, I don't have to tell my story like everybody else around me, like, and not physically around me, but just what I was hearing. I'm like, nah. I need to. What else can I do? And so the journey of people pushing me into like top 20, top 50 type of records, I'm like, that's not the time. I'm like, if I go commercial, it's not going to be because of this. So having to figure out what exactly it was that I was trying to get. I'm like, we have a ton. I'm sitting on a ton of music now, which I'm very excited about. And it will be rolled out, which is even more amazing. But being able to weed through those 20 records I try and be able to pull out too. So it was incredibly frustrating, because I had been ready to put out music this entire time, but the frustrating aspect of me knowing what it was I wanted to tell, I was not receiving, or it wasn't coming off the way I needed it to. And if it ain't right, it ain't right. I'm not putting anything out. And I'm like, I stopped telling just my people, period, because they were like, Asia, what's going on? I'm like, I got new music. No, this don't sound good. This not. I don't want to hear this and just put it down and just be done with it. Like, I'm not making, like, this isn't Fashion Nova for music. Like, I don't want fast fashion music. I want something that's going to be timeless and something that you can go back and listen to. Like, again, I got people that still listen to Looking Glass today. They're like, yo, when did you put this out? It's 2015. No, stop it. No, 2015. So, and I appreciate that.
What's something that you learned that you will go back to tell yourself in 2014, 15?
Chill, it's not worth it. These folks over here, they're not worth it. They're going to wait for you to get to where you need to be in order to do a thing so that they can come after you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Like, you want exposure, you want their respect, you got it. Move on. You did your thing. Don't worry about anybody. That's including family. That's including the people that you grew up with. Anybody, the people that you were in the paint with the music stuff. Anybody that was attached to you, don't worry about them. Worry about you. What do you want? Think about that.
Big old facts right there. 7 years later, in general, music, the sound is just transitioning to so many things. I feel like we in the the generation of up tempo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of things is just more up tempo. But I also want to ask you, now that we're in 2022,
yeah,
and you have your new single out, or is it out yet? Mm-hmm. You have your new
released
single
on
out.
February 18th.
Cool. You have your new single out. Like how has the R&B scene been here? At least from your eyes, what do you see? Like, do you mean like improvements? Do you see any improvements? Do you feel like the R&B scene is doing what it needs to do here in Chicago, or could it be better?
It could be better.
And when you say better, like, are you talking about the support or the music?
The exposure.
Okay.
Because I asked you who one of the girls that you were playing earlier. She sounds amazing. Never heard of her. And it's like, okay, is it because we're not looking at the right places? Is it because we just don't have the right, are we not looking at the right avenues? What is it? So I guess just making sure that we're here. Mm-hmm. Because let's actually take it all the way to ground level. You can't be in Chicago and not be talented. Like, you here, being in Chicago, you are raised with you just have a talent. You have a knack for something. Everybody in Chicago is talented at something. It's the truth. I don't care. Like, we go from recorders to rapping. We go from recorders to playing the piano. Like, we are so talented. And we discount ourselves at such a high rate. We do. It's because we can go to any other major city and we'll listen and, like, let's look at the food scene. We'll go to any other major city and we're like, what is this? Ew. And so it's just like, where's the salt at?
Where the pepper? What a garlic powder?
I don't taste no onion powder on this. Y'all missing the lemon pepper. I mean, it's the same concept with how we approach music here. Same with sports. We are incredibly talented, and we discount ourselves here. So it's a matter of, okay, is it on us that we're not giving ourselves enough credit and saying we got this? Because I'm not worried about the rap scene. Rap scene on lock. Mainly the R&B scene. It just seems like there's just the support and the exposure. It goes hand in hand. So I guess that goes back to the support level. But we really don't give ourselves enough room, or we're not. I guess we're not looking at it the right way, because I'm like, in the same essence, the young lady that you played earlier, how she approaches R&B music, that it's amazing. It's not traditional R&B. And is it because it's not traditional R&B that we don't play this? Like, we're not constantly playing us on the radio, that we're not constantly getting us that type of exposure? We will never know. So it's I guess it's just a matter of what they're looking for, specifically on the major, like those major radio levels. But again, how I find my music, I just happen to find it. I can find it on Instagram. I can find it on Apple. So where are we putting us at?
Or you can find it on listen to iLLANOiZE Radio.
And here too, yes.
Yep.
Shout out to iLLANOiZE.
Because there's always, the age we living in now, there's additional outlets out there.
Correct.
That's definitely shining light on emerging artists. Mm-hmm. So, and we one of them.
Facts.
Let's talk about your single Paradise, right?
Yeah.
Because it's out. On top of that, you mentioned the new album. Or new project. I ain't gonna say album.
No.
A new project that's to come. So let's talk about what people can expect on this new project. The title, possibly, any features.
No, that is still TBD. I feel like I'm in the position of Rihanna. It's like, it's coming, it's happening. But it is more or less gonna be some singles that'll be being pushed out. So project is coming. Exact date, I can't tell you that, because I'm still trying to make sure that it makes sense. But y'all gonna get this work on this music. So you got this single out right now called Paradise. We got another one dropping in April. It's gonna be called Rain. It's a vibe.
You said rain?
Rain.
It's definitely raining outside too. That's a funny thing.
So that one it's actually the perfect follow up to this one. So it's gonna be good.
I love your personality. Your personality, your energy. I just feel it. I love it. So let's talk about any events coming up before we get into this single. Any events that you'll be hitting the stage where people can check you out at.
Some videos dropping.
Video for Rain, all of that's going to be coordinated between April, so more to come on that one. Okay. Performances, also more to come, because it's just a matter of coordinating what makes sense.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
We working on it.
You got to let people know how they can follow you so they can stay updated, as well as how they can stream this single we finna get into.
Oh, man. So Paradise is available on all major digital streaming platforms. So wherever you see ASXA, that's your girl. Go ahead and listen to it. If you are looking to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everywhere, even Facebook, it is Who Is Asxa. So WHOISASXA. And if you're trying to keep up with me just a little bit, get into my brain a little bit, you might want to see my blog or something like that. You can check me out on whoisasxa.com.